My power is absolute. At heights no one's even dreamed of. But I have a bigger destiny.
Oh, praise be. And what is it?
All right, let's get to work, yeah?
We think that Homelander is looking for the V1.
It's Vought's first iteration of Compound V. If Homelander got his hands on some, he'd be immortal.
However, we can
hit him with the virus while it still works and kill every fucking suit on the planet.
I need you, Father. Did you fuck me?
What?
Is this some kind of incest thing?
No.
Then what the is this?
We need to prepare America for my ascension.
You want a boss now?
Well, if you can't beat him, join him. Then fuck it, beat him.
this is our last chance.
That's beta male shit, bro. War, am I right?
Those who seek to destroy me,
The non-believers.
and backstabbers. I offer oblivion.
You guys are friends?
You talk.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. The boys finally dropped a brand new Season 5 trailer. There's a bunch of new footage, Easter eggs, WTF moments from the comics, so we will break it all down. Everybody be sure to hide your milk. Homelander is coming. Cannot wait to see what messed up things he does this season and how they try to top Homelander in Season 4. No, you're not blinking. That was definitely Misha Collins' new character that Jensen Ackles' Soldier Boy was strangling, holding up then splatters like a wet balloon in front of Jared Padalecki's new character to the series too. Call that a supernatural union, even though there have been many supernatural actors on the show before. The reason for that is that Eric Kripke, the creator of The Boys TV series, also created the Supernatural TV series, so he's just bringing back a lot of the people that he used to work with on Supernatural in other shows as well too, some of his other shows.
Hey.
But there is a lot to unpack here. There's way more of the actual story of the season, so we actually know more of the plot itself, like what they're actually trying to do, what Homelander's next big goal is as part of his Phase 2, and it seems like it is to become the immortal God Emperor of the Earth. And it is all because of a super deep cut to Stormfront and the version of Compound V that she got from Vought back during World War II. Part of the reason why I think they're using this plot is to set up the Soldier Boy in Stormfront prequel series they're doing called Vought Rising, which is set during the 1950s after the events of World War II go down, like after the dust clears, and Vought comes to America through Operation Paperclip with Stormfront, who then starts going by the Liberty Bell persona, but she is still immortal because of the version of Compound V, the original version that Vought gave her during the actual war. They just finished filming Season 1 of that. It's probably going to premiere next year. It will basically take over the slot that The Boys main series has occupied. There'll be a bunch of other characters from the 1950s, also probably some characters from present day that are just very long-lived that were alive during that period as well too, and also people that they've referenced. What we'll do is just start at the beginning of the trailer and work our way through shot by shot, talking about Easter eggs and the many, many WTF moments. The opening scene where he's walking up the steps, Homelander's walking up the steps, talking about his ascension to godhood, basically, immortality, what he's searching for, seems like it's when he's inside the White House and he's on his way to go walk and sit in the Oval Office behind the president's desk, which is a big reference to the way the Boys comic book ends with Homelander trying to take over the government and Vought trying to take over the government. Eric Kripke, the showrunner, said that they're going to change the comic book ending. It won't be exactly like the comic book twist at the very end, but it is based on that final comic book arc with Vought trying to actually take over the White House and the battle spilling into the White House, literally. Love Homelander's voiceover, though, when he starts talking about how his power is absolute, basically talking about himself as if he thinks of himself as a god, now going full-blown comic book villain way over the top, catching him monologuing. What it seems like is going on during this big rally here, all these people are in suits, it probably just sycophants and people amongst the government, other wealthy people that he's controlling through fear. Also notice the way the camera frames his head in front of the cross here as if he is or thinks of himself as a Christ-like figure. Just more references to him thinking of himself as more of an actual god now.
Oh, praise be.
They make it seem like this voiceover where he starts talking about his greater destiny is talking to Firecracker, who seems awfully surprised by it too, like she's just kind of going along, not wanting to get killed by him because he gets pissed off with her. What is this amazing plan that you have, Homelander? Like, what is your great destiny? When he smiles and they cut it short with another edit, I think he's just getting ready to tell her, or maybe in so many words, basically explaining that he is going to become the next god of the planet, become immortal essentially, probably something to do with Sage's Phase 2 plan. Find the original version of Compound V so that it will make him immortal, because all the subsequent versions sound like they were refined and then diluted. Maybe because Vought, originally when he learned that it turned Stormfront immortal, didn't want to create a whole bunch of other immortal potential gods. There are only a couple ways that he could actually get that formula. One would be to find Stormfront's body. What happened to her body after she supposedly died? In the comics, you don't actually kill a lot of those superheroes. I mean, you can, but usually what Vought does when they want to get rid of a superhero who gets out of line and they're too powerful to kill is they basically just lock them up in a deep, dark prison. There are a lot of people that think that Stormfront might secretly still be alive. I'm not expecting that, but I wouldn't be surprised if they have some big Stormfront reveal during this season. Or at least to explain why they can't just use her body to extract that permanent version of Compound V that will make him immortal. Butcher is back with the boys like we saw during the previous trailer. They have a new lair, and they're trying to stop the Seven, Vought, Homelander just in general. We get a real quick scene of the Deep to find out what he's up to. Love that he's on the hammerhead shark, like he's just hanging out here in the bay. And it seems like he starts one of those alpha bro type podcasts with a new version of Black Noir who talks and can be on the podcast. Like it would work because he does talk, unlike the original version of Black Noir. Notice they're calling it manhandled. Just means like it's a big send up on the idea of cancel culture. Notice some of the posters in the back too. I think these are meant to be manosphere references, like men's lives matters, equality, men unite. Very manosphere adjacent kind of references here. Notice all the buttons on Black Noir's little gadget here for all of his sound effects. There are like 3 or 4 of them that just say different versions of bro. We get a real quick shot inside Vought's labs with Sage looking at people experimenting on stuff. She's probably just part of her Phase 2 plan. She's just monitoring this. Because as they revealed in the previous season, she had actually planned for Homelander to go off the rails and try to cancel the plan and come up with his new plan. Basically, the idea is that Sage was playing 4-dimensional chess with all the different characters and using Homelander just like another piece on the board. There's a real quick scene of A-Train inside the prison camp here, and it seems like when they're rescuing Huey, this is part of like the previous trailer that we got a couple months ago.
We are dead men walking.
You remember at the end of last season, a bunch of them got captured. This is probably early on in the season when they're all freeing them because we saw Huey with the boys inside that new lair that they had. There's a scene of Starlight talking to the Gen V characters. Remember, at the end of Gen V Season 1, they were teasing them crossing over to the final season of The Boys and helping them. So Marie, using her S-tier powers, she is meant to be basically like the next experiment version after Homelander, created in the womb. Basically injected with Compound V when she was just a fetus being created inside the womb like a test tube style baby because her mother was not able to become pregnant until they experimented on her with the Compound V. If you did not watch Gen V Season 2, I did videos for all the episodes, so you can actually go watch those. I'll put a link down in the description below. But basically the idea is that Marie is meant to potentially be almost as powerful as Homelander, but she actually does not exist in the comics. She's like purely a creation of the TV shows, so like there's no comparison you can make in the comics. We get a real quick montage of all the different members of the Seven and Butcher wanting to use the Compound V virus, also from Gen V Season 1, before Homelander gets the new, or the old technically, version of Compound V and becomes immortal. I would not be surprised if that is a red herring and the virus does not work on him. Like he's actually able to dose him at some point towards the middle or a little bit later in the season, and it doesn't work. We get a little montage of Butcher wrecking a whole bunch of other Vought people using his Compound V tumor powers, which they also reference when he goes up against Soldier Boy. Love the way he references that too. Oh, like, oh, you're one of us now. So it actually looks like we'll get a pretty good knockdown drag-out fight between Soldier Boy and Butcher with their powers. Also love how they cut the tension in the trailer with this funny, awkward moment of Soldier Boy coming out of cryo, thinking that Homelander has used him for some real twisted sexual stuff, like, did you do some weird stuff to me while I was passed out, man? Zoom in and enhance on the shirt that he's wearing, it actually says, "Sorry Snowflake." Feels very in the tone of the merch that Homelander sells on The Boys. I believe the reason why he's unthawing him is because he wants him to go hunt down the rest of the boys to stop them from stopping him, which is why we later see him going up against Butcher. We get a real quick shot of Homelander and Soldier Boy walking into Fort Harmony Medical Department. I'm assuming that's where Soldier Boy got his Compound V treatments, so it's basically Homelander trying to retrace Vought's original steps when he was experimenting with Compound V during World War II. Part of the idea is that Soldier Boy was meant to be like the second person who got Compound V after Stormfront. But at least the version of Compound V that Soldier Boy got was different from the version that Stormfront got. There's a real quick scene of the boys talking to Stan Edgar. He also referenced trying to stop Homelander and retake control of Vought during Gen V Season 2. We'll probably see whatever that plan is enacted during this season. We get a couple more scenes of Ashley. Still don't know what her Compound V powers are going to be because we saw her transforming at the end of last season. When Homelander says the word backstabbers, there's a quick shot of Ryan with his powers lighting up in his eyes like his laser vision. He is probably still the current best option that they have to actually stop Homelander, someone who's potentially as powerful as Homelander who could actually stop him.
Come here now.
Not totally clear why Butcher is strangling Huey here. Maybe Huey is just trying to talk some sense into him and doesn't like whatever plan Butcher wants to enact. There's a real quick shot inside the prison camp still with Huey inside his prison outfit. That's why there's the flag on the back. It's meant to be for Homelander's cape on the back of their sweats. And it's somebody trying to escape, then popping like a balloon. Like there's some sort of security measure that pops them like a balloon. Or some other Compound V super that's just monitoring them and killing them if they do try to escape. We get a much better look at Daveed Diggs' new Compound V superhero character. He's called the Father. He kind of seems like he's meant to be a televangelist for Vought that Firecracker just really likes. She becomes even more religious during this season because of what's been happening between her and Homelander. They're making it seem like his power has something to do with his voice, like maybe he has some ability to influence people using his voice. We get a real quick scene of Homelander flying at night through a forest with his laser vision about to pop up. Not clear who he's going after here, but it seems like he's trying to chase someone down. Then I can't really tell what's going on here with Soldier Boy using his power to blow up this area, but there's all this weird veiny stuff running around in the background, so it might just be some small enclosed area where something like really shady is going on. My assumption is that these weird organic-looking vines like veins have something to do with some Compound V power or experiment that was happening inside this place. You can let me know what you actually think is going on here because it looks very weird. We get that absolutely diabolical scene of Homelander sitting in the president's chair in the White House by himself because remember, there is an actual president, but he's more of a puppet to Homelander. And of course, they have a post-credit scene for the trailer with A-Train bringing some takeout from what it seems like Japan. Like it seems like he ran all the way to Japan to bring some takeout to Kimiko in Starlight. If it wasn't clear, he is now full Team Boys if he wasn't already, and I love the reveal of Kimiko finally talking, which they also did last season too. Everybody post all your reactions in the comments below, and if there's any Easter eggs or references or really big things in the trailer that you spotted that I didn't talk about in the video, just write them below in the comments. There's going to be a bunch of big stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks. We have a couple new series starting. Invincible Season 4 episodes begin. Then we have The Boys Season 5 soon after that, and Daredevil Born Again Season 2, all happening at the same time for a little while. So it is going to be a very good time the next couple months. Make sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss anything. I just did a big trailer video for the new Lanterns trailer. Click here for that, and click here for my brand new Invincible Season 4 Thrag trailer video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.